Hey everybody, Brian back with you, Carlson Adventures. So today I am at the Mcaffee Knob Trail parking area. So first part of the big adventure my wife and I have planned for this weekend. We are planning to get up here to the Mcaffee Knob tonight, camp out, hike back down. We've got a couple more things we're going to do this week. Had a slight change of plans on the way here yesterday. We're right in between Hurricane Gordon and Hurricane Florence, so as you can see, parking lot behind me and everything, we're pretty much socked in with fog and that. But we're going to make the best of it and get up the trail. So we'll catch you up on the trail. So we are about a quarter mile in, and it looks like we finally come to the stair portion of the trail. From other videos I've seen, looks like we've got quite a few steps to get up here. So I alluded to, we had a change in plans. Originally last night we were supposed to stay in Lansing, West Virginia at a campground, and we'd only been about 2 hours away from the trailhead, just to kind of break up the drive over here. And because of the hurricanes that were kind of in between, they had torrential downpours. It would have just been insane to try to camp in a tent in last night, so we decided to drive on over almost to the Roanoke area here. We got a hotel last night, so we cheated a little bit. But we're on the trail, headed up to Mcaffee Knob. This trail, they say it's the Mcaffee Knob Trail. It's actually part of the Appalachian Trail also, so getting a couple miles in on the AT. So we'll catch you on up the trail. All right, so we're about 2 miles in, and come up to the second shelter here. It's the Kotappa Mountain Shelter. I think it'll sleep about 8 or 10 or so if you want to get real comfy. But it's not a bad shelter. We just stopped here for rest our feet a little bit and had a little snack. So you got a bear box over there, so you don't have to hang your food. Just back on that way down this trail here. I don't think you can quite see it. There's a little privy down there, and then right over the hill here, if you follow the blue blazes down to the bottom, they've got water. This is the only water source that I know of on this trail going up here to Mcaffee. But so far, it's been a pretty decent day. Nice cool temperatures. It's about 60, 62. It is overcast, so we really haven't had much views. But we're hoping to see a little something once we get up to the Mcaffee Knob. We're kind of planning on maybe just going up there to Mcaffee, hanging out for a while, and then we may come back down to this shelter and just spend the night here and hike out in the morning. So we'll catch y'all up the trail. Okay, so we made it to Mcaffee Knob. It was cloudy, overcast, just kind of like we figured it would be. The weather we're having out here. Nonetheless, it was pretty cool to see. Interesting story while we're up there. A little talk about trail etiquette and just common courtesy, I guess. So we got up there. And when you go to somewhere like this on the Appalachian Trail that is just super popular, you know you're going to deal with people, and it's going to be crowded and hard to get a picture, you know, with just you in it, just by yourself. So we totally expected that. So when we got there, we took a few pictures, you know, and of course there's people in the backgrounds and that. Did manage to get some with my wife, with just her. But before we could get pictures of me by myself, a young woman came up. She goes over to the knob, you know, where everybody wants to get their picture taken, and proceeds to sit down, eat her lunch right where everybody wants to, you know, get their picture taken. After her lunch, I guess she got her belly full. She decides to take her shoes and socks off and lay her backpack down, take her a little nap for about a half hour. Didn't care about where, you know, people coming in and, you know, wanting their picture taken there or anything. She just kind of claimed that spot for herself. So people, when you come to places like this, especially, you know, photo opportunities somewhere famous on the trail, do everybody a favor. Have a little courtesy. You know, get your pictures, move out of the way, let other people, you know, get their pictures that they've walked or hiked 4 miles uphill to get. Don't, you know, camp out right there in the spot where everybody wants to get a picture taken. So we just kind of thought it was funny, and I'll try to put up a picture here of right before we left, put our packs on and everything, and I just thought I'd walk over and stand next to her and get my picture taken, just for a little memento of, you know, the story behind it as we sat there and ate our lunch and laughed while she camped out. So just remember, when you're out here, have a little courtesy besides the normal trail etiquette of, you know, leave no trace. If you're going uphill, you should usually have the right of way. If you're coming downhill, give the people coming uphill right of way, that kind of stuff. But don't camp out on a major photo op for over an hour, not allowing other people who have hiked the same, you know, hike you've hiked to get there and not get their photo op too. So just a little funny story we had up there. We're now going to head back to the Kotappa Mountain shelter. I think we're going to camp out there tonight. We'll have an easy 2 more miles probably back out to the car tomorrow, and we'll be heading toward Damascus. And I don't know how I'm going to put all these videos together yet. This whole week we've got planned out. We're going to Damascus tomorrow. We're going to stay in a barn that somebody's renovated the part of the loft as an apartment. So we're going to stay there. And then we are planning the next day to go to Grayson Highlands and do an overnight loop there. But from what we're hearing, the rangers have closed down all of the campsites, even outside the park around Grayson, due to bear activity. So we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do down there. We may just do a day hike and find somewhere else to stay, or stay there another night. From there, we're going to try to do the Virginia Creeper Trail on the mountain bikes. And then our last night, we're going to drive down to Max Patch down in North Carolina. Try to camp out up there on the bald. So I don't know if I'm going to try to do it all in one video, or, you know, break it up into parts or something for each destination. But we're going to make our way on down to the shelter, and we'll pick up there. All right, everybody, we are at the John Spring Shelter. It's the next morning. It's about the same as the Kotappa Mountain Shelter. It's got a spring down that way, and just over the hill here, a little privy picnic table. We ended up coming up here last night. It's about 1.5 miles past the Kotappa Mountain Shelter. Headed back down toward the trailhead for a couple different reasons. One of them being a bear in the area at the Kotappa Mountain Shelter. We were coming down the trail, and we actually had a bear come out in front of us twice, the same one. And it was only probably 1/10 of a mile from the shelter, so we figured we'd come on down here and give him some space. So it was pretty nice. We were the only ones here for quite a while last night. About 1 o'clock in the morning, we heard some people hollering and carrying on, coming down the trail toward the shelter. Didn't know if it's some crazy people or what the world was going on. Come to find out, it was a younger couple from Portland, Oregon, and they had night hiked in and had a cat of some kind I don't know if it's a cougar or whatever they have out here in Virginia, but stopped right in front of them on the trail, so they're pretty shook up and ended up spending the night in the shelter with us. So, with all that said, we're packed up, getting ready to get back on the trail, head back to the trailhead, to the car, and on to Damascus. Know how this is going to come out on camera, but there's a doe there. There's one right there. Really not paying us any mind at all as we come down the hill. All right, we made it back to the parking lot. Basically, you see the weather we're still having. You can't really see much. But yeah, Mcaffee Knob, it's a pretty good hike, 4 miles one way uphill. Pretty much 4 miles the other way. It's kind of downhill most of the way. You get a little uphill. But they rate it moderate. I would say it was definitely a moderate rated trail. We had an experience. We didn't get to see many views, but we did get to see a bear twice. And met a nice couple from Portland that were doing an amazing adventure. So from here we're on to Damascus, and we get there, we're going to try to find out what the next leg of our trip holds. We're supposed to do an overnight loop in Grayson Highlands, but from what the reports we're hearing is you cannot overnight camp there due to severe bear activity. I guess they've had a lot of people getting their food stolen and seeing bears in the campsites and that. So we're going to talk to them, see what we can do, and figure out some kind of loop. So we'll play it by ear, and we'll see you when we get there. All right, everybody. Well, we made it to our Airbnb last night. It was actually, like I had said, like a little apartment cabin type deal they had built into the top of a loft of an old barn, and it was pretty cool, pretty rustic. I believe it was called Gentry Cabins. It's in Laurel Bloomery, Tennessee. Would highly recommend it. Super nice people that own it. So you ever need an Airbnb down here in Laurel Bloomery, Tennessee, check them out. It's just right above, like 10 miles from Mountain City, I think is the biggest city around this area. But as everything's gone with this trip, we are changing plans again with the Hurricane Florence coming in. It's just going to smash Virginia and North Carolina. That's where we're at, headed back. We're going to head back to Grayson Highlands and do it overnight. Well, on top of all the rain and everything, you're not allowed to camp in anywhere near the Grayson Highlands State Park right now because of all the bear activity. And we figured there would not be any views either, just because of the, the clouds and the rain coming in. And we're supposed to go to Max Patch, and that's just going to be crappy too. So we spent most of the night last night kind of checking out where we could go, where we wanted to go but haven't gone yet, and where the weather was much better. So believe it or not, we are getting ready to hightail it out of here and head up to Ohio. We're going to go to Hocking Hills, and they have like a hike-in kind of campground area along with the other campgrounds for RVs and stuff. But we're going to stay more on the primitive side and just try to do some hiking around that area, day hikes and stuff. So I'm probably going to end this video here. Probably be titled, you'll see it in the thumbnail, something to do with, Mcaffee Knob. My next one, if you want to follow us on the adventure this vacation's become, it'll probably have something to do with Hocking Hills or something like that. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.